Yo, welcome. Welcome back. All I'm doing right now is to make sure this thing is is live before I start eating with my quick soliloquy. Like it's how technology doesn't work when you want it to work. So all I am is just waiting to confirm. I hope y'all have a blessed day. Life is short. Be thankful that my feet touched the ground this morning. Healthy family. So flip or flop. You know what? There's a couple things. Let me see if I'm gonna talk while I try to pull this up because it's important, in my opinion. So I said this. Um, I want to say I definitely said it after the season. I might have said it towards the back third of the season that this roster has to be turned over. The roster we had last year, we had to flip it. And the bad part about it is when you flip it, your margins are small. But you couldn't get by with the culture in the locker room. You had to make a change. I was like, change everybody. Now I know you can't flip the whole roster and get a whole nother 105 guys in. But you needed to make a change. As Anthony said, and I have said it on the locker Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that discipline was an issue on this team. We can all agree with that. But as I've said in the past, discipline has been an issue on this team since day one. This is not the first year discipline has been an issue. It's been an issue since day one. As I've stated many times, the Jordan Jones years, him throwing track, like it's been veto. Go on and on. And it's not just us. You look at Georgia, LSU, other programs within the SEC has had problems. It's not a Kentucky thing. But discipline has not been is not just something that crept up on us. The only difference is we were winning. That's that's the only difference, y'all. Let me see if I can change my lighting. We were winning. So a lot of that stuff got got covered by the 10-win season. This is the discipline is not a new thing. I mean, if you remember the Florida game, we left guys wide open. That's a form of discipline. So that's not a new thing. We were just winning games. And when you don't win games, then people start nitpicking. They start nitpicking about Stoops being at Jeff Ruby's, Big Dog being at Jeff Ruby's, which a lot of people championed before. Now they're upset about it. But we had to change the roster. And now people are upset that we're changing the roster and getting the undisciplined players out and hopefully bringing disciplined players in. You cannot have it both ways. Just can't. Which, if Stoops is acknowledging he made a mistake with vetting players in the past and trying to correct that mistake, doesn't mean you have to like it. That doesn't mean you have to um turn the page and say, "Oh, we still want him here." I can understand fans not want him here. I will say this: if you don't want him here, be honest and say that a lot of y'all don't want him here because he had a foot out the door to Texas. because that's a lot of that rub a lot of people the wrong way, and I can totally understand it. But there is, as Justin Rowland said earlier today, that this team is going to be tougher. That's all you can ask for fans is a tougher team, a more reliable team, guys who are going to do it hopefully the right way. Now we don't know if that's going to be true because some people can say, well, they did it the right way somewhere else, but our guys don't do it the right way here. And I can't say nothing to you, but okay, he's going to have to prove it. But you can't overlook the fact that we are cleaning potentially some of the problems. Now, sometimes when you clean some of the problems, there's going to be friendly fire. There's going to be extra guys who leave who are not a problem, but they want to leave for whatever reason it is. That's the great thing about this country is you can decide to leave. So there are some guys who probably a lot of y'all would not want to leave and who's leaving anyway. I totally get it. But that's what's going to happen when you had to turn over this roster. You had to. You had no choice. You had a 4-8 season. When I was with the Bears, my rookie year, and we went, I can't remember where we went, 7-9. We go 6-10, whatever. And I remember Mark Hadley basically telling a veteran and who told me that there's none of these guys can play on this team. So we're gonna flip this roster. And they flipped the right thing. Sheesh. Half the team was new going into camp. So we had to flip the roster. Is it a fun time? No. Is it a great time? No. But if you flip the roster and bring in the right guys, why can't we be Vandy or Indiana? Why couldn't we be? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but why not? Because we have the same coaches, the same coach, let's say the same head coach that brought us from 2-10 seasons to 2-10-win seasons. Now it's like he forgot how to coach. Coaches don't forget how to coach. They can get complacent. They can sometimes not demand certain things, accountability, etc. But this guy has been this way since that's the one that got me. It'll be something. I played for Coach Curry, and I would have said this on the locker, but I said here, Coach Curry. One day we had 25 period practices. I'm pretty sure it's 25 periods, and we got like the period 21 or 22, and Coach Curry started practice all over with. We started from period 1 again. Now, if Coach Curry came like 8 years later and I came to practice and they had a shitty practice and Coach Curry just let them get to 25 periods without saying anything, then I'd be like, Coach Curry, you have changed. Mark Stoops has been this type of coach since day one. Two 10-win seasons. And you won't change? Sure. Look, change is inevitable. Change is going to happen either way. Some way, somehow, change is going to happen. Even if he wins X amount of games next year to calm y'all down, eventually, change is going to happen. And as I said in the locker, one thing I'm as a player is going to do, I'm going to support whomever is a coach of this program for forever. So it doesn't matter. It's not a Stoops thing. It's not like when Stoops leaves, I'm going to be, oh, I'm not going to support the program ever again. No. He's the coach of the program. I am going to support him. And I'm going to support the players who line up and wear the Kentucky across their chest. That is the standard for me. The standard is the standard. I'm going to support the guy who's leading out the men and the guys who's wearing that jersey regardless. So if you can't identify that he is trying to make a change, I think you need to look within a little bit. Now that doesn't equate to 8 wins. It doesn't equate to nothing. That just equates to him identifying we had a problem. I let it slip, and now I gotta make a change. You can say where I made a change. If you're in a marriage and your spouse says you need to do there's a problem and you make a change, and someone said, well, you made a change only because your spouse said so. I want to keep my spouse, right? I want to keep this job. So I'm going to make the change that's needed to be able to continue to lead this program. I think I'm seeing from the outside looking in because I'm not in Lexington. I'm not a recruiting court. I'm a recruiting guru who knows all these guys, and I don't know. But I can say the guys that I have taken a little bit of time to find some film on, because I'm not going to search too long. I don't get paid for this. The people I can find film on easily, the guys are different. That doesn't mean that they are surefire 5-star Jadeveon Clowney, Travis Hunter type players. No, I'm not saying that. But we didn't win with those type of players anyway. We didn't win with those type of players anyway. The player that's closest to that would be Wan'Dale Robinson. And then we only had him 1 year. And then Josh Allen. Those are only 2 players that you can say were difference makers. Mike Edwards is close. But those 2, Wan'Dale and Josh, are the only 2, like, damn. Them are first team all SEC definite players. So we didn't win with those kind of players anyway. So if we get the right kind of players with a chip on their shoulder, who's willing to come here and build a culture again, that's a positive. Doesn't promise anything, but it's a positive. Like Coach Chandler has said to me on Twitter, like, not every 4-8 season is the same, and he's right. Not every 7-5 season is the same. Not every 8-4 season is the same. Some seasons looks or feel better than others. This 4-8 season felt like shit. It just did. But what if the next season, let's say you go 6-6, but it feels better? That's a positive. That doesn't guarantee Stoops is here the next year. But if he wants to come back next year, but that's a positive. That's progressing, as y'all would say, which I totally disagree with. That the program took a step backwards. The program took a step backwards last year, not the previous 2. You don't go 10 and then go to 11 and then go to 12. You're going to have bumps in the road. I'm not gonna go into it again about 2022. Oh, that could have been this because it really should have been. Not gonna go into that. But 2022, y'all think it was a bad year? Not a bad. 2023 was not a great year, but it was not a bad year. Again, like I've said before on here and on the locker, Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, me and Anthony White, is that 2022 should have been 9 wins, 2023 should have been 8 wins. And then you have a clunker. None of the other 2 seasons had a factor with the clunker this year. Clunker this year was based on the locker room. We had Jock Jones on the locker Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time a year or so ago, and he stated some things. If you want to know what he stated, go to YouTube, find the Locker 411, and you can find that episode Jock Jones on and listen to it. And you will understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. The best thing that this staff did was notice the problem. Maybe too late. Maybe they thought they had something because they like, hey, we got all these stars. Maybe they did that. Maybe Stoops took a step back because he had a foot out the door, thought he was going like deuces. And I'm not worried about 2024. Maybe so. We can pontificate on all that. football player, each year when that last game ends, it doesn't. It's a different year. I mean, I went on. Look, first bowl game in Kentucky history in '93 in like 10 years or something. '93, we go 1-10. 2 different years. 1-10, we go 4-7. 2 different years. So it doesn't leak over. The positive that I see is we decided to flip the roster. And if I, as the coach, deem that you are worthy of staying here, I'm going to do everything to keep you here because you work hard. You're a good culture fit. I see you in the future. I'm going to keep you. Then when I go into the portal, I'm going to identify guys who can add to that culture, not hurt the culture, but add to it, play a certain way, behave a certain way, be a man on and off the field, do what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, how you're supposed to do it, and then we can progress from there. I don't feel good about next season like I felt the previous season, like we're going to win this. I don't feel good about this season. I'm not going to lie. Just not, because last year, PTSD. That also doesn't mean we can't do a Vandy or Indiana type season with the guys we bring in. There's nothing stopping us from doing it. As I've said, they had a graphic about high school stars in the Final Four of college football playoffs. How many 5s and 4 stars? Some of these teams have unbelievable ratings with them. We have done our best when our ratings were not that. I want you to think about it. I ended with some coaches coach better with not high-end talented players, because when you get high-end talented players, they bring high-end baggage. Them the ones that bring the Louis Vuittons, bags, the Chanel luggage, all that with them. When you deal with lunch pail guys, they bring in lunch pail that's dented. It might have some rust on it, might have the clamp might not open properly, but you know what? That little lunch pail is going to perform. And we need to get back to that level of performing on the field and not doing this weak ass shit that we ended up doing the last 2 years, really. Let's see what happens with these new additions and how they add to improving the culture that took a hit last year. All right, y'all. Have a good weekend, and I will probably see y'all tomorrow because I got some. Maybe tomorrow.